when you shield out, when they press it back in, right back out.
Yeah, but you're getting hit more on this side.
Yeah, that's the icon.
Right. So, one thing I think you should try to work on is like your guard low. You want to like keep your elbow a little bit tucked more. Because when you leave it out like this is what I'm catching you on the most. Right? It's this out here, right? This is a little better, but like your elbow just a little bit behind you is definitely going to help you like not get caught on that as much. The couple things that I'm using on you, circle with me.
We're going to be doing chains. So the place we were supposed to go to yesterday, we called ahead first.
You're kind of following my lead right now. And because you're following my lead, your body's going to keep moving this way. Because you have to react to stop it, right? So I'm throwing shots here, you're still moving. No, you're following right now. Right? And you see how like, this is kind of where I was catching you on a little bit earlier, is like, I'm making you follow me. I'm trying to make you make movements without me having to swing my sword, right? Because obviously we know about like right fakes before throwing your real shot, but like the biggest thing is let me follow this way, and I do this to Fable a lot. Is like I'll start stepping this way, so I can just. If I start making you follow this way, because I know that your elbow comes out a little bit too far. This is how I'm putting pressure on this. I'm applying pressure on this side, so I can go for my real shot. Yes.
I have a comment. I noticed something. I noticed that you're doing a little bit of less, at least right here, is you are, which maybe Chop mentioned it, you are switching up your stance, because previously you were pretty heavy offensive stance, always, and you would never switch to defensive. So I saw you doing it a little bit, but you do like favor the offensive, and in the offensive is your small move. So all Rook, and I think most of the time that he killed you on this side, he was waiting for you to switch into your offensive, and you're right here, and he moves you a little bit this way, and then it's all open. So your feet and what your feet are doing, I think he's waiting for you to. Then he kills you.
You're constantly trying to put the ball in the other player's court with certain decision making. So like, if I'm just trying to throw like this big sky hook, right? The moment that I throw this, you have to block against it. And if you block against it, this is really bad for you. It's like, really, what do you have to do to kill me? That right here, just chop down, right? Just snag that arm. So if I'm throwing these big shots, I'm kind of giving you the opportunity to punish me on it. Take it easy, Sigurd.
Nice meeting you. Safe travels, safe travels.
So, you were asking about shots earlier. So, one of them is the 956, where it's like you're jamming this fist right here. Jam, you're blocking out here, and then you're spinning out. So, I used that on you earlier. And again, it's more of like always with your feet. You always have to like lead your opponent, right? Make them do things and set them up in different positions to make them make a mistake. Sometimes like your guard is super tight and like throwing it straight, you're not gonna land anything. You're not gonna land anything. So like I have to make you do things that pull you out of your comfort zone. So one is just like running, stepping forward, stepping back, you know, little things like that. Just make you overreact and like, so like this is our defensive stance, right? So like it's not like the whole fight I'm standing like this, right? Because if you move, I have to adjust. And then every time I have an adjustment, sometimes I'll either over adjust or under adjust, let's say. And then I have to like take a half a second to like settle. And like that half a second of settling is usually where you're aiming to make that shot. So there's different ways you do that. So one is if I'm throwing this type of shot up here, a lot of people will overreact by either raising their guard or not really moving their guard. But this is just a test. This is a jab, right? This isn't my kill shot. This is just me like asking the question, hey, what do you do when I do this? And if you're not flinching, that's giving me information. If you're over flinching, it's giving me information. I'm just making my plan based on how you're setting up, how you're reacting to the things that I do. And the biggest thing I would say is like range control. So like if I'm able to like hit here and I feel like I have to extend my arm a lot, I can tell you're pretty far away right now. There were a couple times where like you stepped super far back and I'm like, kind of like to make a point to you that like you're so far that we're not even fighting anymore, right? There's no combat once like you're outside of sword range. So you still want to be like within that green zone of like, you know, I hit your shield, yeah. I hit your weapon, yeah. When I hit anywhere on your body, like you kind of have to lean.
I'll never complain about watching.
I don't really want to lean too much.
Only if I just
Before
can't
lean
fight.
forward. Let's say I fuck up this shot, like you can see, like I'm already exposing my back a little bit. Take it easy, Gando. So those are like the little things that I keep in my mind. Like how can I make you move in a way that can cause you to make mistakes? Feints are the biggest thing that I do for that. So like if I'm landing like a lot of like good shots like this, I might try to put a little more pressure on this side before throwing my real shot, which might be like a sky pass, or maybe it'll be like a hip wrap, or like whatever you're finding a lot of pressure on someone else, they kind of become aware of their weakness. So, and I'm going to use Fable as an example because like we were talking about this earlier, is that she is very vulnerable in this, right? There's a lot of times where like I'm throwing this hip on her, punch on it, so like I'm aware of that, so I take advantage of it. I'm not necessarily throwing the hip every time, but I'm pressing that button, right? Sometimes I step right and I punch down, she might flinch. Maybe she'll lower her guard a little bit. And just a half a second of her lowering your guard, punch and then throw your real shot. Or punch and then throw on this side. You kind of have to learn how to react to other people's information they give you. You have like a mental notepad on what people do and how they're fighting and what are their weak points, you know? Like there are some people who like maybe like you're not protecting your shield a lot. Like I think it was Sigurd that his shield was drifting a little too far out this way, and I was just landing this super easy. And then the more I started to land this shoulder shot, the more he's like, oh wow, I gotta be really careful about that shoulder. So he starts drifting his shield this way. And then once that opens up, now I'm aiming for this. And everyone's just kind of reacting to like the last like 9 or however many number of attacks just happened. You just gotta think of like what are the most recent things that I've done? What are the most recent things that they've done? Because I'm giving you information based on what I'm doing, right? If I keep hitting you with these money shots, you're just kind of like, man, this guy's just fucking hitting this hip. And you know that he's aiming for that. So that's just giving you information to react to. So let's get another bout. Just think about trying to use your footwork to open me up a bit. Good. Pretty good amount. Why are they so tangled? That's my righty. Good rap. Good rap.
Woo woo!
high cross work for you at first? You slapping my arm on the first one. You okay? Is your
No, I hit myself.
okay. So this jumping high cross worked for you? I wasn't expecting that angle because you were changing the angle of your attack, right? On
But
high
after the
crosses.
first time,
Because I was getting used to this, and then you changed it to this, which is working for you. That's good. Then after the follow-up, started kind of throwing that same angle over and over again, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of where I have to be to block that out. And once I kind of figured out, okay, this is how deep she's expecting to go for this shot, so I have to kind of expect that she's going to throw that. So if I'm waiting for that, aim for another angle. Like, punch up, make me freak out, because I'm kind of traumatized at this idea that there's an angle over here that exists for you right now. So just punch up, aim low, right? Or punch up and then go for that shoulder, right? Do something that's like explosive and just unexpected. Like lightning never strikes in the same place twice. So if I'm going to pressure like one angle, I have to pressure those other angles first before going for my real shot, even if the other person knows what I'm used to. Does that make sense?
No, yeah. You draw, not in direct opposite, but you draw the attention over here, so I'm like, okay, he's gonna hit over here, he's hitting over here.
It's all defense building. And like, whatever your strongest and most explosive shots are, other people are usually going to try to anticipate that and react to that. And once you've found what your strength is, be aware of what your strength is, because other people are trying to take advantage of your strength, right? I understand that you love this shot that comes all the way out here, this high cross, but now I'm kind of waiting for you to make that high cross. I didn't want to run it. Oh, back. Here you go.
Yeah.
Oh, arm. You know what? Actually, I think that was late. That was late. Yeah, but you got the arm. Okay. Back. Go to that building. Was that hit? Oh, dead.